Hello everybody, Matthew Armstrong here, again on day 2 of our 90 days from mediocrity to mastery transformation program coming at you live. I'm very enthusiastic, quite excited when this starts because it's live. It's quite different to making regular videos where I can just stop it and edit it and redo it and things like that. So I really like this. I feel inspired to do this right now, and I feel good about it. And I'm glad that you can make it here right now. If you're watching this live and you haven't seen the... Hello everybody, Matthew Armstrong here, again on day 2 of our 90 days from mediocrity to mastery transformation. Okay, so it's definitely working. Great, I just had that window open on another window. Okay, cool. That totally threw me, hearing my own voice back to myself. So if you're watching this live right now and you didn't see the first hangout yesterday, then carry on watching this live, but then afterwards go back and watch the first one so you can get the full introduction and understanding of what is happening. It is very important to watch each of these sequentially to get the most benefit and impact out of them, because they're all by design, and you'll be missing out a lot if you don't watch them all in sequence. So if this is your second time back, welcome back, and I think you're here for the long haul with me, and it's going to be a great ride. It's going to be a great journey. So last night we talked about Dr. John Demartini, whose teachings we're going to be going through over these next 90 days that I have found to be so powerful and profound in my own life, and I wanted to pass them on to you and also reinforce them even deeper within myself and hold myself accountable to doing many of the exercises that he lays out, because they take quite a bit of commitment. They're not simple exercises. They take a lot of breaking through resistance to do them and things like that. So I thought this format would be great for myself to improve and also to pass it on to you as well. So if you haven't got the book yet, the Values Factor by Dr. John Demartini, you want to get that book because it's necessary for this 90-day transformation program to have that book. And somebody said yesterday that they bought the audio of it, so that's something you can do immediately, buy the audio. Or if you have a Kindle, I'm sure you can buy it on Kindle. His link is drdemartini.com, or you can buy the book on Amazon as well. Right, so yesterday I was saying that I resonate quite a lot with John Demartini, with his story of growing up and things. I had some similar challenges, some similar things, and similar values, and so that's what I want to talk to you about a little bit to start off with. Is some of my own story. Some of my own story, because with a lot of things I was below average. Starting off in life, I was below average in a lot of things. For example, I wasn't good at stuff at the start, but check out my hair. My hair is different from last night, right? If you remember last night, my hair was like all over the place. Now I've cut my hair, and I cut my hair today. I cut my own hair. Yeah. Something interesting fact, if you didn't know about me, I cut my own hair. I've cut my own hair on and off since I was about 13, 14, something like that. And how it started off was, the hairdresser just wasn't cutting it like I wanted. I said, look, I want to look like that guy in the movie, and do my hair like that. And he just couldn't seem to quite get it. And so then I said, right, I'm going to start doing it myself. And what I found was the hairdresser would cut up here with the scissors, and then on this side they'd cut down the way, and then it would be different every time on both sides. I'm like, surely these people are professionals, surely they can get it right both sides, but it didn't seem to be that way. So I thought, okay, I'm going to start cutting my own hair. And I remember I bought her clippers, and I was cutting my hair, and then I took one of the attachments off it, put another attachment on. I got distracted, went back to cutting my hair, and I just went zzz up the side of my head, and forgot to put the attachment back on. So I had this big bald patch all the way up the side of my head. So I had to go into school the next day with this massive bald patch all the way up the side of my head. And people were wondering what was up with me and how that happened and everything. And I was too embarrassed to say at the time. So I started off being really bad cutting my own hair, so bad that you know, I looked like I had you know, my hair was falling out or something. But then I got better at it, and it got to the point where it's completely unconscious for me now. I just get a pair of scissors, and I'm like Edward Scissorhands. I just all around the back of my head, and I didn't even need a mirror to look at the back of it anymore. I can just do it with my eyes closed, and then I can just look at it afterwards, and it's just perfect. Both sides, it just seems to work out. I have no real method. I just go to work on it, and it works, right? But that's the way it is. When we start doing something and we do it over and over again, we start to get good at it, right? Even if we're completely crap and terrible at it at the start. And that's the difference between those that are mediocre and those that master things in life. Is those that master things in life realize that when you start off on something, generally you're not very good at it. You know, there's a learning curve, you know, and there's generally 3 types of people in the world when it comes to learning, when it comes to getting good at things, when it comes to master anything. 3 types of people. The first one is the dabbler. The dabbler is the person that goes, okay, I'll get these clippers and I'll start cutting my hair, and then does the mistake, the big bald patch, and goes, oh look, I'm just not good at this. I'm not meant to cut hair, you know, and then just quits it, and then goes on to something else, you know. And then the second type of person is the stressor, and the stressor is the person who starts at something and is not very good at this, but they stress at it a bit, get quite emotional about it maybe, and you know, sacrifice some other things just to get good at it, right? And they improve, and they go up, and then they might hit a plateau, and they'll stress out more, and then they'll go past that plateau, and they'll keep improving at that thing, but not without a lot of kind of stress and struggle. So they compromise their emotional well-being, and sometimes other areas of their life, maybe relationships or things like that, on the way to whatever they're trying to master. And then the third person is the master, the person who just committed to mastery and realizes that you know, there is a process. There's a process. There's going to be obstacles. There's going to be challenges. There are going to be people along the way who will try and stop you. There'll be like threshold guardians to stop you going past the threshold. There'll be all sorts of different characters on your path and on your journey. And the master realizes this. And the master, so when they come up against a struggle, a challenge, something like that, they just realize that that's part of the journey. That's part of the path. So they don't stress about it. They just get on with it. They just get on with it. When they hit a plateau, they don't freak out, or they don't get really down that they've hit a plateau and they're not making progress. They just realize that they've hit a plateau, and they just need to keep going. And when you hit a plateau, you need to keep going. Sometimes you need to change your approach. Sometimes you go, okay, well, maybe something that didn't work in the past isn't working anymore. You know, what else can I add? You know, what else can I put in here to actually get to the next level? And that's how the master mind operates. That's how the master operates, and that's the path to mastery. So, you know, are you a dabbler? Are you a stressor? Or are you a master of your life, right? And that's how we break through mediocrity, just realizing that, you know, it's a process. Fears will come up. You know, all our fears will be presented to us on our path to mastery. And anything that we're afraid of, we'll have to face it. That's just the way it is. You know? So like I said, for me, as I was talking about John Demartini last night, I related to a lot of things like he did. You know, at school, I had issues at school. I couldn't. Everyone else in the class had learned to read and write, apart from one other dyslexic boy and me. I wasn't dyslexic, but for some reason I just wasn't getting it. You know. I eventually got sent to this special remedial class with this woman, this teacher who was very forward-thinking, way ahead of her time. I mean, this dyslexic boy got sent to our class because we were the dunces in the class. You know, I was once the dunce in the class, and we just couldn't get it. We do a spelling contest, and I might get 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 20 just by pure luck. just by pure luck, or maybe I cheated by just catching a glance of someone else's work in the spelling test. You know, reading, anything like that, I just couldn't do it. I don't know why. Well, I kind of do know why. I had a block to it, right? And this teacher helped me get through that block. She made it into a game. She made it fun. So it was enjoyable to go to her class. I went to her class and things were fun. Things were enjoyable. We'd play word games and things like that. And suddenly, within a year, I went back to my old class, and I was suddenly the top in the class in reading, top in the class in spelling. I'd generally get 19 out of 20, 20 out of 20 in all spelling contests. And that transformation happened with just in a year. I mean, we're going from the bottom of the class to the top of the class. And what did it take for that to happen? Well, it took a change of approach. What was happening in that class obviously wasn't working for me. It just wasn't working for me. My brain was wired differently. I just didn't learn like other people learned, like most of other people in the way the education system was set out. But then, I had a mentor. I had a mentor. I had this teacher who actually showed me a way where I could learn. And through that, I was able to transform to a stage now where, you know, that is part of what I do. Part of what I do is I'm an author of a book. I write blogs. I write articles. And so from being the person in the class who was just thought this guy's never going to be able to learn to read or write to having it as my profession, you know, that's quite a transformation. So it doesn't matter where you are in life. Sometimes you just need to change your approach. Sometimes you just need maybe a mentor to help you to get from where you are to where you need to be or where you want to be in life, right? So never give up. You know, that's the thing. Never give up. There's always a way. There's always a way. And there's a secret. There's a secret that I'm going to share with you of why people stay in mediocrity and how to break free of that and get to mastery. I was contemplating it all today. A lot of little things came together. So that's what I'm going to talk about after I read the next section of our book, The Values Factor. Like I said, 6 or 7 pages a day. The first exercise doesn't start until after maybe 5, 6 days or something like that. So look forward to that. But let's just go with the next part of the values factor. Using the values factor. Although Paul Bragg helped me unlock the secret of the values factor for myself, I did not immediately understand how to communicate this secret to others so that I could help them create their own extraordinary lives. This understanding emerged from years of teaching my signature seminar program, The Breakthrough Experience, where I have helped tens of thousands of people set goals and break through their limitations. Some of my insights into the importance of the values factor came from my observations as I worked with thousands of students over several decades. As I helped people achieve their breakthroughs, I began to notice an underlying structure that enabled people to move forward more quickly with their lives and that empowered them as they made ongoing changes. This underlying structure I came to realize was twofold: the values that each person held, as well as the voids, apparent lack or challenges that he or she had experienced. I'll explain this notion of values and voids more extensively later in this chapter and also in chapter 3. My observations were supported by my ongoing research into the structure and function of the brain, as well as into psychology, philosophy, and physics. I also studied the lives of high achievers and leaders, seeking to understand what had driven them to their exemplary achievement while enabling their striking accomplishments. As we shall see through this book, people who live extraordinary lives of inspiration and fulfillment have aligned their goals with their highest values. That is, they have chosen goals that are congruent with their highest values, rather than seeking to live out the values of others. Or in some cases, they have found ways to align their values in service of their chosen goals. I will explain how you can identify your deepest values in chapter 3, and I will show you to align your goals and your highest values in many chapters throughout this book. So those are some of the exercises we have to look forward to. All of these insights into the values factor flow naturally from the Breakthrough Experience seminar, where I help people realize that they hold within themselves at every moment everything they need, want, or admire in others. This realization held undeniable power, and it led my students to achieve greater fulfillment in numerous areas of their lives, including business, love, finance, education, and relationships of all kinds. But I also saw that many people could attain even greater personal and professional power if they only became aware of their own highest values. By definition, these people were in fact living out their own highest values, focusing on what was really most important to them, because that is what all humans do. However, they were not necessarily aware of their true highest values, or in some cases were uncomfortable about acknowledging them. As a result, they were at odds with themselves, unable to be fully honest or aware about who they really were and what they really wanted. Consequently, they were not fully able to mobilize all their physical, mental, and spiritual resources to make their goals come true. Becoming aware of their highest values would enable that kind of mobilization, potentially bringing them greater fulfillment in all areas. Also, I found that students who were aware of their highest values had a clear advantage, because their self-awareness enabled them to be more easily and quickly make the decisions that would most fulfill their purpose in life, while inspiring them with the energy and stamina to work tirelessly toward that purpose. Over my decades as a human behavior specialist, I honed these concepts as I worked with educators, schools, and some of the world's largest corporations and organizations, as well as with tens of thousands of students in my seminars. Based on my work in education, business, and human development, I was able to create a set of exercises to help my students realize their highest values and set their goals accordingly. I share those exercises with you in this book. The power of the values factor is extraordinary. The people I've worked with have used this approach to build businesses, find their life partners, recover from chronic pain and illness, repair relationships with spouses, parents, and children, and reconnect to their deepest spiritual callings. These exercises embody the methods I have used to create and sustain my own extraordinary life. Both my own achievements and those of my students remind me every day of the immense power in realizing your highest values and setting your goals accordingly. If there's one thing my time on earth has taught me, it is the remarkable ability of human beings to overcome obstacles, transform their most challenging situations, and find profound meaning in their lives. But the key to this transformation each and every time is the values factor. Knowing your highest values enables you to align your life's actions with the things that mean the most to you. Not being aware of those highest values makes it exponentially more difficult to create a meaningful, fulfilling life. It really is as simple as that. What values are and what they are not. When I ask you to think about what your values are, what words come to mind? If you're like most people, you might find yourself listing abstract qualities: honesty, integrity, trust, or perhaps you would refer to a set of religious beliefs, a patriotic ideal, or a code of morality. These are probably not your own personal values. Rather, they are what I call social idealisms, socially acceptable ways of thinking and behaving. Social idealisms sound nice, but they don't necessarily reflect the true driving force that shapes your perceptions, decisions, actions, and feelings. You might genuinely believe that you are inspired by these ideals, but they are more likely to reflect your ideas of how you should, ought to, or have to behave, not what you truly value the most. You can recognize social idealisms because they are usually presented as general statements and abstract categories. People should be honest. Treat others the way you want them to treat you. A good person goes to church, synagogue, mosque, or temple. An evolved person is always generous and altruistic. True values, by contrast, are as specific to you as your fingerprint, your retinal pattern, and your voice print. Perhaps what you truly value most is spending time with your family, listening to beautiful music, and the chance to play basketball several times a week. Or perhaps you value stylish clothes, nursing injured animals back to health, or expanding your enterprise's global reach. Your highest values may change throughout your life. Most people do. But they are still the very essence of you. What you're drawn to, what you inevitably seek out, what you live for. They're a kind of internal compass, pointing you toward the activities, people, and places that most fulfill you, and away from the situations and people that are likely to feel unfulfilling. If you think of which activities and relationships truly nourish your innermost being, those are your highest values. Just as no one else can choose your fingerprints or alter the pattern of your retina, no outside authority, no parent, teacher, political leader, or religious figure can define your values. Only you can look into your own mind, heart, and soul and discover what is truly most important to you. Of course, you may find some similarities between your values and those of others. For example, both you and another person may love learning, but one of you may love to learn facts and figures, while the other revels in mastering profound philosophic concepts. Or perhaps one of you delights in mastering the ins and outs of investing in the stock market, while the other loves to invent complex financial instruments. In the domain of home and family, perhaps two parents equally value nurturing their children, but one expresses that nurturing through providing challenges and discipline, while another expresses that nurturing through long conversations about feelings and offering comfort in times of difficulty. As you can see, even when two sets of values seem to be similar, one person's values will never be quite like anybody else's. If you and another person had exactly the same values, one of you would not be necessary. The world needs many different individuals, each with a unique set of values. Your unique purpose is to understand and fulfill your highest values. It is both a spiritual quest and the key to a fulfilling life. This is why I suggest that you focus on your own personal journey of self-discovery and not allow social idealisms or possibly stagnant traditions or conventions to cloud the clarity of what really matters to you. Social idealisms that you learn from your parents or teachers may lead you to believe that you should save money. But if buying a movie ticket, a motorcycle, or a more expensive house is more in line with your true values, you will spend instead of save. Social idealisms picked up from your family or the culture around you might cause you to think that you should put in more time at work. But if going home to you with your children, meeting a beloved friend, or keeping a date with a potential life partner reflects what you really value, you will consistently find yourself leaving work early to fulfill that true desire. People will naturally act in accordance with their own true highest values. Spending money on what they truly value, spending time in ways that reflect what is most important to them. However, if they are not aware of their own values, and particularly if they believe they should follow the values of another, they will likely experience frustration and other self-depreciating emotions when they expect themselves to live outside their true highest values or even attempt to do so. So if you want to know why you're not doing something you think you should, or why you can't stop doing something you think you shouldn't, the answer will almost always be the same. You're inevitably going to do what you truly value most. You may be frustrated with yourself because you expect yourself to live outside your own true highest values, but however you feel about your shortcomings or your bad behavior, you will in fact continue to behave in whatever way aligns with your own true highest values. By contrast, when you become aware of your own highest values and wholeheartedly pursue the goals that express them, your life will begin to embody the kind of fulfillment and inspiration experienced by history's extraordinary leaders and achievers. Awareness of their highest values is the secret of their achievement, and it can be the secret of yours. This is why becoming aware of those true highest values is so important. This is why I have written this book, to share with you the power of the values factor. How do you know when you're expressing your true highest values and when you're reflecting social idealisms? I'll offer some powerful exercises in the next chapter that will reveal your true highest values. Then, throughout this book, I'll show you how to use those most important values to help you reach goals that have been eluding you, from finding a life partner or establishing a business or saving money or losing weight. Meanwhile, here's an important clue. Anytime you find yourself saying, I should, I need to, or I really must, you can be pretty certain that you are talking about social idealisms or the values of some external authority instead of expressing your own true highest values. When you hear yourself saying, I desire to, I choose to, or I love to, then you know that you're talking about a goal that is truly valuable to you. Those are the goals you will inevitably achieve because they align with your highest values. But when you take on goals that are not aligned with your highest values, then you will, in all probability, struggle. External influences often seem to make it difficult to achieve your goals. Going within to choose your goal means that those are far more likely to be achieved. And here endeth the lesson from the book of the Values Factor for this evening. So some powerful stuff in there. I hope you're taking notes on that. Just profound. It's just profound what's in this book. If you really listen to it, you'll get it on different levels. There's a few things in there I just thought I've read these few pages like 10 times, and there's something else I got at a deeper level there when I read that. Let me just read one paragraph again. By contrast, when you become aware of your own highest values and wholeheartedly pursue the goals that express them, your life will begin to embody the kind of fulfillment and inspiration experienced by history's extraordinary leaders and achievers. Awareness of their highest values is the secret of their achievement and can be the secret to yours as well. So awareness of your highest values is the secret to achievement, the secret to living the fulfilling life that you want. But if I ask you right now, what are your highest values? Most people might just go blank. They go, right? And then, like he says in the book, they start spouting off. Oh well, I value integrity. And sometimes they project on other people. I like people to be honest. I like people to treat me the way I treat them. They start projecting their values out, but they aren't really their values. They're just, like he said, social idealisms. So to truly know what your values are, it's truly what is important to you, what inspires you, what fulfills you in life, right? So any questions, you can put them in. I opened the window there, so I can see questions that come up. Okay, no worries, nothing so far. Okay, so here's the secret. Here's the reason why people stay in mediocrity. People stay in mediocrity because they see that as their identity. They just see that that's who they are, that's their identity. And whether it's conscious or unconscious, And when they look at those that are living extraordinary lives and achieving extraordinary results, they see those people as different to them. They see that person is a certain way, I'm not like that. Whether they're saying that consciously or unconsciously, that is what they are experiencing, that is what they're demonstrating. So that is the reason why those that stay in mediocrity, because they see that as their identity. So then the secret is to shift your identity and to realize that those that are living extraordinary lives, those that are getting the results that you'd like to get, those that are living a life that you emulate in some way, right? The secret is to realize that they are no different to you, and to be able to look at every single area of their life. And there's going to be exercises in the book as we go forward to actually do that. And I've seen this in many areas, but John Demartini has a way that you actually make this happen. Because I was at a seminar last year in the US, and one of the speakers on stage was a multi seven-figure earner in the home business industry. And he said at the end of his talk, he said, look, if there's one thing I can leave you with, one thing that you'll remember, and one thing that will change it all for you. He said, realize this, that you're no different to me, and I'm no different to you. And when you realize that, you'll get the results that I get. Because that's something that he realized on his journey, that he was looking to people like living extraordinary lives, wanting what they had, but thinking that he was somehow different to them. And then once he got that realization, He had this aha moment. He had this like epiphany, and he realized that those people that had the life that he wanted were no different than him. And when he realized that, then his life changed, and then he started creating a life like that. And I've seen examples of that all over the place, you know. I remember, because the World Cup's on at the minute, right? You know, so this is an example that kind of popped into my mind many years ago when I first started to realize this sort of stuff. I was working over in Japan at the same time when the World Cup was on in 2002, and I was working in a job that provided corporate and VIP hospitality packages for the World Cup games. And so I met a brother, I forget his name now because I'm not a football fan, one of the football players that was playing in the England squad. And I met his brother. And this was after England got beaten. It was like the day after, something like that, that England got beaten by Brazil. So put out, or beaten by, yeah, I guess they were. Yeah, beaten by Brazil and put out. And he said his brother knew they were going to lose because they put the Brazilians on a pedestal. The England team put the Brazilians on a pedestal, and when they were in the changing rooms, they were talking about, you know, who was going to get Ronaldinho's shirt after the game. Like he was some superstar and they weren't. So the guy who was a bit of an older player, he looked around and he didn't believe the way they were seeing the Brazilian players like they were better than them already. And so of course that was a self-fulfilling prophecy, and that's what manifested on the pitch. They went out thinking that they were playing these superstars, and that they wanted to get shirts after the game, like they were fans or something. And because of that, they lost. And that's probably a thing within the psychology of the England players, even though they've got great players, is you know, they see themselves as less than in some way and not equal to. So, you know, that's an example from sports, but you can find examples of that anywhere in the world. You find examples of that in your own life when you look at it. When you see yourself as whatever your identity is, whatever self-image you have, that is what you'll demonstrate in your life. And so look to the people, start thinking now, well, who do you want to emulate? Who's getting the results in life that you want to get? Who mastered the things in life that you wish to master? And what you want to start to do is look at that person and realize that that person is no different than you, and you're no different than them. You can create the results that they are creating, right? And that is part of the teaching of the value factor, which we'll get into. And there's actually exercises to really make a transformational shift. You're doing the exercises, but I want to get you started now thinking and thinking about, well, who are the people? Start writing them down. Who are the people, the top few people who you wish to emulate in your life, that you wish to go on a similar path and master similar things? You find out who they are and start to see that you already have their traits and they have your traits, and there's not so much difference between you and them. It was the same with another guy who was really struggling online, and he went to meet his mentor, and he stayed in his mentor's house. And what happened was he was really struggling online to just pay his rent and things like that. And he went to stay with his mentor, and he saw what his mentor did each day to get the massive results that he wanted. And he said, "Is that all you do? Is that it?" He said, "Well, yeah, that's all I do." He said, "Well, I can do that." He said, "Well, of course you can. I've been telling you that all along." But somewhere in his head, he thought that his mentor must have some sort of secret. He must do something special that other people just can't do. But when he saw that all it was he was following a certain set of priorities every day and doing them, and that's what's getting him his results. He suddenly realized that he could do. There was no black art. He could do those same things, and when he realized that, that's when he like times his income by 10 in the next month, where he just broke through, where he suddenly saw that his mentor was no different than him, and he was no different to his mentor. And you know, that's the great thing about this. There's no difference between us. We're the same. And when we realize that, it takes away a lot of judgment. It takes away either putting ourselves down or pushing ourselves up too far to a place of putting ourselves on a pedestal or something. So that's the great thing about these teachings as we move forward. Like I said, I wanted to keep each of these to 30 minutes, but it's amazing how the time just goes like that, right? So I hope you got something, well, a lot of stuff actually from that short session we just did there. And like leave your comments. Let me know what is your vision for this next 90 days. What do you want to achieve? What do you wish to master in your life? You know, what path do you? Maybe a new career path, or maybe a health and fitness goal, or maybe it's an income goal, or something to do with your relationships or whatever, and some fears you want to break through. You know, what are you looking to do in this next 90 days? I'm interested to hear about that, you know, because it's inspiring. It's inspiring to hear other people's vision and what they're doing. So I'd like to hear about that. You know, my income goal for the next 90 days is $100,000. That's my income goal, and in doing that, because my business is in helping other people create a career and create an income online. So for me to do that, I actually have to help a number of other people create an income online. So if you want to do that, you can click on the link below, which is going to be there. Maybe not be there right now as this is live, but afterwards I'll put it in, where you can join my team, and creating a team where everyone on the team has a goal of at least 10K per month or more, and you know, let's do that in the next 90 days. Let's make that happen to start earning 10K per month or more in the next 90 days. Like I said, my income goal is grander than that, but that's just me. I like to stretch it a bit further and show what's possible. So stay with me, only to see what's possible in this next 90 days. But if you don't follow through and do the exercises and everything, then you're going to miss out on your own personal transformation. So join me every single day in this journey. What can I leave you with tonight? Yeah, that's just what I said, is just find out the people that you wish to emulate most, and realize that you're no different to them. Everything that is in them is also within you. You have immense power within yourself. You have greatness within you, and it's just accessing and realizing a little bit more of that right now. Okay, so thank you very much for joining me this evening, and look forward to connecting with you again tomorrow. And you're very welcome to also share this, share the love, pass these trainings on, these videos, these hangouts on to post them on your Facebook. And remember to subscribe to the channel, and or send them to your list, to your friends, and let's create a movement here of transformation from mediocrity to mastery. This is Matthew Armstrong signing out.